Good morning. It is true, I cannot see anyone up here. For those of you who do not know me, I'm Gisell, and today I will be sharing a little bit of how I made it from Denton, Texas, here to SNU as a ministry major of all things. I could spend hours talking about all the ways God has made himself so evident in my life, but today I actually have about 5 minutes. However, if there is anything I say that sparks a question or a conversation, please let me know and we can talk about it anytime. Many may see me and think, oh yeah, a ministry major. She probably has it all figured out and has been in church forever. She fits right in. Let me tell you, that is not true at all. I grew up Catholic, but truly just by name, because I can only remember about once or twice attending a church before high school. Growing up, I wondered why people went to church. What was there in a boring 1-hour speech that made them keep coming? Was there really some big man up in the sky looking down at us all the time? And I decided early on, if there was one, I knew I didn't want anything to do with him. Coming from immigrant parents who always worked, I saw firsthand how stressful life could be. There was no joy in living, just responsibilities and expectations from people around you. Since elementary school, it was engraved in me that I was doing good, but I could always do more. There was always space for improvement. It hit me early on that from what I could see, I hated life. I hated never being enough. I was terrified at the thought of growing up and having what little happiness I had then taken away from me by a full-time job in a society that would just beat me down like it did to my parents. So the only thing that made sense to me was to just end it all. I attempted suicide when I was in middle school. After I had failed, I felt pathetic. I couldn't do anything right. In the back of my mind was always the thought of how I'd really do it before I turned 18. All I knew was that I had to do it before the world and its routine would crush me. I guess the real issue was I had no purpose. It was like I was just sleepwalking through each day. I didn't believe in God or an afterlife. What was the point? I started doing drugs in high school. I would get high with my friends because at least I was finally fitting in somewhere. I was vaping and going to parties where everyone seemed to like me. I'd say the jokes and everyone would laugh. I was finally good at something. But underneath, I still felt hopeless. Then something happened that eventually changed the course of my life. Out of nowhere, one afternoon, my mom and I were driving home, and she saw a church she had heard about. It seemed so random. She insisted we go check it out, not because it was a church, but because there was some sort of free English learning classes that were offered, and my parents didn't speak very good English. We walked in, and some ladies began talking to my mom. The next thing I knew, she was crying. She was telling them how drained she felt from life. I had no idea what was going on. There was a cool youth group, so sure, I enjoyed going sometimes, but I still had my cooler life going on, until it wasn't cool. I was caught with drugs at school. My mom had just found this safe place with these people at church, so what did she do? She told them everything. I thought, great, not only do my parents hate me now, not only do I not have friends now, but so will the whole church. I won't fit in there either. Again, I felt alone and ashamed. The friends that I had found were not really friends, they were gone. One night, I laid on the floor of my room with this kind of panic. I was purposeless, empty, out of options, and I wondered if this time I would be successful in taking my life. I still didn't know if I believed in God, but I vividly remember praying and doing so with such desperation. God, if you really are who you say you are, will you just make yourself evident? Will you forgive me? I just want to feel you. I want to know you. I was so desperate for a drastic change, and it came. People who knew everything I had done, the strangers from church, they were so kind. As my parents continued pursuing a relationship with God, their priorities shifted. They wanted to spend time with me. There was an unexplainable love from people around me that I had never felt before. Now I know that was God working through them. My parents, my siblings, and I ended up getting baptized. One of the best decisions I have ever made. By the end of my junior year, I got a calling to full-time ministry. Completely the last thing in the world I thought I would do. To be honest with you all, it took me a while to say yes. as in less than a year ago. But here I stand before you all, not knowing many things. 2 months before school started, I honestly thought I wouldn't even be able to go to college. But as I have said yes to God, every single thing has fallen into place, and I mean every single thing. Life has not been calm at all, but I have this peace I can't even comprehend. I want to tell people everything that has happened in my life, everything I am, and I want to be. I recognize that God has and continues to turn all these things for good. I finally found somewhere I fit right in. That purpose, that deeper meaning I had been longing for, I found. My Creator had been calling me my whole life. So I want to leave this with you. Job 33:4 says, "The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life." This is for all of us. The Spirit of God has made us, all of us. The breath of the Almighty gives all of us life. I encourage you to take full advantage of that.